Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to take another deep dive with us?
Always.
Today we're going to be looking at some truly fascinating new research in the world of AI, specifically the realm of multilingual vision language models.
Some seriously cool stuff.
Absolutely. And the best part, the research we'll be exploring is hot off the press, a paper titled SigLIP 2, Multilingual Vision Language Encoders with Improved Semantic Understanding, Localization, and Dense Features, just published this month, February 2025.
It's already making waves.
Okay, so before we get lost in the technical weeds, can you give us the big picture? What exactly is this SigLIP 2? What makes it so special?
Imagine an AI that can understand both images and text in multiple languages.
Okay, that's impressive, but I'm not sure I'm following.
Well, think about it this way. This AI can not only identify a picture of a cat, but it can also understand a description of that cat written in, say, Swahili or Bengali.
Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing. So it's breaking down language barriers in AI.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does it work? What makes it different from what we've seen before?
SigLIP 2 builds on its predecessor, the original SigLIP, but with some significant improvements.
So like SigLIP, but better.
Much better.
What kind of improvements are we talking about?
Well, one of the key improvements is something called decoder-based pre-training.
Decoder-based pre-training.
Yeah, imagine teaching a child about the world by showing them pictures and explaining what they see.
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
You're not just labeling objects, right? You're helping them understand the relationships between those objects and the language we use to describe them.
So is that what SigLIP 2 is doing?
Exactly. This decoder-based pre-training helps SigLIP 2 to not just identify objects, but to actually understand the nuances of language.
So it's like understanding a caption.
Yes, exactly. And even references to specific parts of an image, like the cat on the left.
Oh, wow. It's starting to understand things the way we do. Are there any other big changes?
Another key improvement is the use of self-supervised losses.
Self-supervised losses. I have no idea what that means.
It might sound complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. Imagine you're learning to play chess, and you're playing against yourself. You learn from your mistakes and get better over time, right?
I see what you're getting at.
That's kind of what SigLIP 2 is doing with self-supervised losses. It's constantly learning from the data it's given and improving its ability to extract really detailed information from images.
So SigLIP 2 is kind of its own teacher.
You could say that. It's able to pick up on subtle details and patterns that might be missed by other models.
Okay. And this is useful for any particular tasks?
Definitely. This is especially useful for tasks like what we call dense prediction.
Dense prediction.
Yeah, where the AI needs to extract very specific information from an image.
So like what? Give me an example.
For example, it could analyze a scene and tell you things like, this area is made of wood, or this object is 5 feet away.
Wow. It's like it's developing real visual intelligence.
Yeah, it really is. And to make sure this visual intelligence is as sharp as possible, the researchers used what they called active data curation.
Okay, I think I'm going to need some help with that one too.
Sure. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a super smart librarian who can handpick the best learning materials for a student.
Okay, that makes sense.
In this case, the student is SigLIP 2, and the librarian is an algorithm that's selecting the most relevant data for the model to learn from.
Ah, so they're being really deliberate with what they're feeding it?
Exactly.
So what kind of data are we actually talking about here? What does SigLIP 2 learn from?
Well, they trained it on a data set called WebLI,
WebLI.
which contains over 10 billion images and 12 billion text descriptions
Whoa.
in 109 languages.
109 languages. That's incredible. What's the thinking there?
Well, it's all about giving SigLIP 2 access to a truly global library of visual and linguistic knowledge.
So it can learn to see and understand the world from all sorts of different perspectives.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, this is all happening inside a computer, right? Like it's not physically looking at these billions of images.
Right, it's all digital. But even so, handling that much data is still a huge computational challenge. So to deal with that, they used a technique called implicit distillation through data.
Implicit distillation?
Yeah, it's like giving the smaller SigLIP 2 models a concentrated dose of knowledge from their bigger, more powerful siblings.
That's cool. So they're finding creative ways to optimize the learning process.
They are. And they're really focused on making this model as inclusive as possible. They even incorporated techniques to try and mitigate societal biases.
That's great. I mean, it's not enough to just build powerful AI. It needs to be developed responsibly and ethically, right?
Right. And the SigLIP 2 team seems to be really aware of that.
So what did they do specifically?
Well, they focused on building a model that performs well for people from different cultures and backgrounds, not just those who speak English.
They weren't just concerned with making it multilingual, but making sure it works for everyone.
Exactly. They used a mix of both English and multilingual data during training, which led to really impressive results on data sets that focus on diverse content.
I'm really liking what I'm hearing. It's more than just a powerful AI, it's a more inclusive one.
Exactly. It's a significant step forward, not just in terms of technical capability, but also in terms of responsible AI development.
This has been a really fantastic overview, but I feel like we're just getting started.
We are.
Stick with us, folks, because in part 2, we're going to dive into how SigLIP 2 can actually be used and discuss why it matters for you.
It's really cool to build these powerful models, but it's another thing to make them useful in the real world. And that's where I think SigLIP 2 really shines.
Yeah, how so?
Well, the researchers actually designed this to be really practical for developers.
Okay.
Imagine you're a developer, and you're working on an app that needs to understand images to text. You could simply swap out an older model.
With SigLIP 2?
Yeah, with SigLIP 2, and see improvements.
Across the board?
Across the board.
So it's like a plug-and-play upgrade for AI?
Exactly. It's designed for really easy integration.
Okay. And this means that it can be adopted quickly?
Adopted quickly, deployed in a wide range of applications.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned vision language models earlier.
Yep.
What exactly are those, and how does SigLIP 2 fit into the picture?
Okay, so think about it this way. You have language models, like the ones that power chatbots and text generators.
Right.
They're great at understanding and generating text, but they can't see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you have image recognition models, which are great at identifying objects and scenes, but they can't really understand the meaning of those images the way humans can.
Right, so they're each missing something.
Exactly. And that's where these vision language models, or VLMs as we call them, come in.
Okay.
They basically combine the power of both language and image recognition to create these AI systems that can not only see, but they can also understand and even talk about what they see.
Wow, it's like the ultimate multitasker of the AI world.
Yeah.
So where does SigLIP 2 fit into this?
SigLIP 2 provides the eyes for these VLMs.
Okay.
It's that visual foundation that allows them to perceive and interpret the world around them. And because SigLIP 2 is so good at what it does, it makes these VLMs more accurate, more efficient, and just more capable.
So it's like a superpower. It lets them truly understand images in a way that was never possible before.
Exactly. And that unlocks a whole world of possibilities. Well, for applications in different fields like robotics, where AI systems need to interact with the physical world. Or even in content creation, where AI could help us generate images or videos, maybe even music.
So it's not just about making AI smarter, it's about making it more capable of interacting with our world.
Exactly.
And this is all happening in multiple languages.
In multiple languages.
So it's not just revolutionizing how AI understands images, but doing it across these language barriers.
Across those language barriers, yeah.
Now this has huge implications for me. And for everyone, right? Think about all the documents we interact with every day. Contracts, forms, reports, even just handwritten notes.
Right.
SigLIP 2 can help AI understand the text in that document.
Regardless of the language.
Regardless of the language. So it's taking OCR to a whole new level.
It is.
It's not just about recognizing the characters.
It's about extracting meaning.
Meaning from the text, understanding context, answering questions even.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a game changer for things like automated processing, or translation, or just finding the information you need quickly.
It is. And, the researchers also developed this special variant of the model called Naflex.
Okay, Naflex, tell me more.
Well, you know how images come in all different shapes and sizes?
Right.
Sometimes they're square, sometimes they're rectangular, sometimes they're even oddly shaped.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of AI models struggle with this variety. Naflex, though, allows SigLIP 2 to work with images of different dimensions.
Without distortion.
Without distortion.
Wow, that's incredibly useful, especially for things like, document processing.
Exactly, where you often have images with unusual dimensions.
I see. So they've thought of everything.
They've done a good job, yeah. It's really a testament to, how much they've thought ahead.
So we've talked a lot about the technical capabilities.
Yeah.
But let's step back for a second. Why should anyone care?
That's the big question.
What are the real-world implications? How could this technology actually impact our lives?
Well, I think it represents a significant step forward for AI in terms of AI's ability to understand the world around us. Especially in a way that transcends these language barriers.
So it's more than just a cool tech demo. It has the potential to make a real difference.
Oh, absolutely.
We've already touched on area like online education, document processing. But what else?
Well, think about things like accessibility tools for people with disabilities.
Okay.
That can understand and respond to their needs in their native languages. Or even, these AI-powered assistants that could help us navigate complex information and make better decisions, regardless of our background or language.
So it's about making information and technology more accessible to everyone.
Exactly. Creating a more inclusive world.
And that's why all this work on fairness and cultural diversity is so important.
Absolutely.
It's not just about building a smarter AI, but building a more equitable one.
It is.
This has been a really great conversation.
It has.
But I'm already eager to hear more, so stick with us for part 3, where we'll explore some of the potential ethical considerations and discuss what the future might hold for this groundbreaking technology. It's pretty amazing to think about all the ways this technology could be used to make a positive impact in the world. But I imagine with any new technology, especially one this powerful, there are always potential downsides to consider, right?
Absolutely. It's super important to remember that at its core, SigLIP 2 is still a machine learning model.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, it means that it learns from the data it's given, right? And that means it can also inherit any limitations or biases that might be present in that data.
So even though the researchers have tried to make that training data as diverse as possible, there's still a chance that some of those real-world biases could creep in.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important that research and development in this area doesn't stop.
So what can we do?
Well, we need to constantly be refining these models, expanding the data sets, looking for new ways to make sure that they're as fair and unbiased as possible. It's a process.
Right, it's like this constant evolution, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, but also making sure that we're doing it in a way that's responsible and ethical.
Exactly.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, have the researchers hinted at where they might go next with this technology? What's the future of SigLIP 2?
Well, one thing that's really interesting is that they're looking at how this model can be used to enhance human creativity.
Oh, that's fascinating. So not just about understanding the world, but helping us to create new things.
Exactly.
What could that look like?
Well, think about AI tools that could help us come up with new ideas, or even to design innovative products, maybe even compose music or create art.
In multiple languages.
In multiple languages. SigLIP 2 could really be the foundation for a whole new era of AI-powered creativity.
It really feels like we're on the cusp of something truly remarkable.
I think so too.
So to wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. If you could use SigLIP 2 to build any AI application, what would it be?
That's a great question.
What problem could you solve?
Well, the potential is just enormous, and I think that's what's so exciting about it. It gives us these tools to create a future where AI helps us connect better, solve those complex challenges that we're facing, and really unlock new forms of creativity and innovation.
Well said. And I, for one, can't wait to see what happens next. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into SigLIP 2.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep imagining.